Hey guys, so welcome to my channel, Storytime with the Queen. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps with the algorithm. And then also please hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed. If you are a current subscriber, thank you and welcome back. This story, I'm gonna jump right on into it. I really just wanna call this one Doug, but I don't know what I'm gonna title it yet. So some years ago, I met this guy on blackpeoplemeet.com. Don't ever use blackpeoplemeet.com. I have nothing good to say about it, not just because of this story, but damn it, there are too many other stories I have from Black People Meet. So anyway, met this guy named Doug on blackpeoplemeet.com. He lived about an hour and a half away from me. So whenever we went out and interacted, he pretty much came to my side of town. He was divorced and he had a young daughter. I think she was about maybe 3 or 4 at the time. Really cute girl. We dated for about 8 or 9 months before we ended things. And there was no drama. It just, that spark and everything that was needed, it just kind of fizzled out. It wasn't there anymore. So we both went on our separate ways after about 8 or 9 months. So I move on with life. About 2 years go by and I'm in church and I'm walking down to the collection plate. And I see Doug in the audience with a girl that I know from my church. He didn't go to my church. He never did. But the girl he was with, she did go to my church and I knew her. We weren't friends, but we were acquaintances. We would see each other speak. It was all love. So, I speak. I just kind of nod and keep going, because I'm not tripping. I don't miss him. I'm not trying to be with him. It's been almost like 2 years. So the next Sunday, I come to church again. Doug is there. Same situation, but this time when I got home from church, I had an email from Doug on Facebook. And it was something like, I miss you, how have you been? And immediately in my mind, I'm like, let's stop. Okay, number one, you were in church with your girlfriend, who I do know. So I didn't even entertain it. I didn't reply to him. I didn't say anything. But what I did do was I changed the church service that I went to. My church had like 2 services at that time. And so I started going to the second service, which I hated, but I preferred the early morning service, but I also did not want to, run into him again. And he's like emailing me and I know that girl. So I changed services. I don't see him for a while. Some time goes by. I mean, it could have been maybe, 5 or 6 months go by. And I'm volunteering at church at one of the tables after service, after both of the services. I was like in between service. And the girl he was with, she was volunteering with me. So we were like, sitting it up, kikiing and everything, having a good time. I didn't even mention Doug because I don't care about Doug. I never even told her that I knew him or anything. So after we were sitting there and things slowed down, she was like, oh, girl, let me tell you about Doug. And I was like, huh? And she was like, girl, and I said, well, what? What happened? I'm thinking something bad happened to him. She goes, girl, he finally got divorced. And I said, I didn't know he had gotten married again. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, well, he was married to his daughter's mom before. So, and she said, no, that's who he just divorced. So yeah, so then I'm sitting there like, well, wait a minute. No. And I kept telling her, no, he was divorced from her. So then she kept saying, no, Candace, he just got a divorce from her, his daughter's mom. So then she goes, he told me that you were his homegirl. And I was like, homegirl? I've never been his homegirl. I said, and that's when I told her we used to date. And I was like, we dated for like 9 months. And she was like, what? So, now we're realizing he lied to her when he saw me at church. And of course, she figured out that I knew him by, I guess, my reaction or when I spoke. He told her I was his homegirl. And I let her know, no, I'm not his homegirl. I never was his homegirl. So then, we matched up dates. Our dating never interlapped or anything like that. At that point, like I said, that didn't matter to me. But what did matter was the fact that Doug had been married when he was dating me. And he told me he was divorced. I always specifically ask guys, are you married? Are you engaged? Are you in a relationship? Is there a woman who would be upset if she found out you were talking to me? Because sometimes they'll be in a situationship and won't even tell you, about that. So I always ask those things, including, are you gay? Like, do you like men? I don't have a problem with gay people, but I don't want to date a gay man. So anyway, what was I saying? So she's like telling me that she knew from the beginning that he was actually married. He was honest with her. I don't know why he was honest with me. I just assumed that it was because he knew that I would not continue to date him if I knew he was married. And that was the truth. So I was upset. I was irate. I was like, you know what? Give me his number. I'm upset right now. I was like, I can't believe he lied to me, because I felt like he put me in a situation where I could have been harmed. Like, we could have been out somewhere and his wife could have followed us. She could have followed me. I could have got attacked and I would not have known what was happening, So I felt like, and I still feel like, a person should be upfront with you. We are all grown. Let a person make a decision about whether or not they want to continue on a journey with you. Let them know. If you're married, tell me up front. I say most times, yeah, I won't knowingly date a married man, but you never know. But at that time in my life, and even now, I don't want somebody else's man. I just don't. I want my own. So I was really upset about that, and I wanted to confront him about that. So she really had to calm me down, because I was like, girl, when I see him, it is on sight. So she had also told me that they had broken up or whatever, but she still talked to like some of his family members. So after she calmed me down, she was like, really, you just have to realize in life, karma really will get people back. She was like, so don't go off on him. I'm not going to give you the number so you can go off and everything. So some time goes by. Me and her still are cool, like, kikiing and everything when we see each other. And she stops me at church again, probably, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 months down the line from that conversation, that we had the volunteering at the table. And she told me that, she was like, girl, so karma has definitely hit Doug. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? So let me tell you a thing about Doug. Doug was a very successful businessman. He was a black cowboy. He owned a farm. He was a rancher. So he trained horses for sport. And he also just did private horse training for people who own horses. And he also would compete in cowboy events or whatever. And so when, at the time that I was with him, he did a lot of that. He was so successful. So she told me he started losing clients, so many clients that he ended up losing his business. He lost his farm, and he ended up having to actually live with her for a couple of months because he had nothing. And at first I thought she was lying to me, just trying to make me feel better, because every time I would see her, I would walk by her and be like, on sight. But I never saw him at the church again. So I went online and I actually checked, because, he had like a website and everything. His website was taken down. I Googled and did some research, and I found that he really did lose his business. Like, I'm like, okay, she's not lying. So honestly, I never wished on him that he would lose everything, or, lose his business and money, and he ended up having to move back to Chicago with his mom, I believe, eventually, after, staying with her for a couple of months. And so I never wished that on him. All I pretty much wanted to do was just, beat his ass in the parking lot. And I would have felt good about that. But karma has a way of saying, no, baby, let me handle this for you, because the beat down that you could give him, it won't compare to what I'm going to do to him. And that's really what happened to Doug. I still think he's a piece of shit. I don't know where he is in life. I will say, I hope that he has gotten back on his feet. I'm sure he has. He's very intelligent. And I hope the best for him. But probably still, if I run into him, it's on sight. All right, hope you enjoyed that story. I'll see you guys next time. Go ahead and hit that like button. Comment if you've been in this, a similar situation. I think it's really janky for someone to be married and not be upfront. I thank God that I didn't get hurt. I've heard of stories in the past of women being out with men. I saw a video years ago of a woman, I think she was in Florida, and she was out on a date with her boyfriend for Valentine's Day or something, and his wife came up and ran over her with the car, and it was in the video. Like, her body was crushed up. She was still alive, and her legs and everything were like broken, and her limbs were broken, and all of this was happening, and I don't think she knew he was married. And even if she did, still, that's, damn. But I didn't want to be in that situation. So, I thank God for protecting me. I thank my spirit guides for always having my back. And I thank karma for beating his ass. But it's still on sight.